1 in 3 adults in America have prediabetes, but most don't know it. To let people know it can be reversed before it becomes type 2 diabetes, professional basketball player Julius Randle is doing everything in reverse.
I'm only dunking with reverse windmills. I drove the whole way to practice in reverse. I don't recommend it. This move's called the reverse shuffle. I do recommend it. And it took me months to learn how to speak in reverse, like this. Here's 10 almost for diabetes type 2 with living, then has my mom. In other words, my mom has been living with type 2 diabetes for almost 10 years. So together, we want to say to the 84 million Americans at risk, exercise and healthy eating can help reverse prediabetes. Start by taking a simple 1-minute risk test at doihavepreddiabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Bet he can't say that in reverse.
It's laundry season at Owen Home Appliance Center. Tired of that washer walking out the door and having to dry a load 2 or 3 times? It's time for a new washer and dryer. Pick from brands like Maytag, GE, Whirlpool, Electrolux, and of course, Speed Queen. Try the new 2-in-1 GE Profile that washes and dries a load all in one machine. Visit the interactive location in Lacey Springs where you can try the washers and dryers before you buy them. Owen Home Appliance Center. Quality products, quality pricing, quality service. It's in the name, Owen Home Appliance Center.
The John Deere compact tractor is as easy as connect, latch, load, haul, spread. Cutting grass is as simple as roll, click, mow. Box blading is as effortless as hook, lock, grade. And backhoeing is as convenient as turn around, switch, dig. Because when you've got the versatility to tackle just about any job and dealer support in your own backyard, you just have to get in the field. Find the right compact tractor for you at John WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. Your home of the Crimson Tide Sports Network. It's Sports.
Good morning. I'm Doug Brown. The Warriors beat the Kings Thursday night, 130 to 104. In that game, Steph Curry becomes the first player to hit 4,000 career threes. He's almost 900 ahead of James Harden, who's second on the all-time list. Today is Curry's 37th birthday. In the SEC tournament second round, Otega Owe hits the game winner against his former team with half a second left. 15th ranked Kentucky beats Oklahoma 85-84. Texas gets a 94-88 double overtime win over 14th ranked Texas A&M. The Longhorns trying to play their way into the NCAA bracket. In the ACC quarterfinals, Chucky Hepburn hit the buzzer beater to give number 13 Louisville a 75-73 win over Stanford.
Tom Luganville here from my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White, his team takes great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold-certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
If hunting and outdoor recreation are your passion, it all starts with the right property. That's where I come in. I am Bo Butler from Southland Realty and Auction, a hunting and recreational land specialist and a Jackson County native who sees land through a hunter's eyes. Just as you trust your guide at a big game hunt, you can trust me to find the perfect property for you. Thinking of selling? Let me help you make your land attract buyers. Remember, Bo knows land. Call me at 256-609-0512.
Everything you need is just a click away.
I smoke sometimes, shouldn't I?
Okay, almost everything.
Oh, well, tell you what,
Log on today, 977ESPN.com. 977ESPN, The Zone. Joe Hunk, John Abraham, 256-576-4977. Welcome to the Blitz.
Hello and welcome into the Blitz. John Abraham, Joe Hunk on the side, of course, Rudy Armin here on a special Friday edition of the Blitz. Just had a really long night, a fun night out at Pella I don't think it was too fun, but it was a good experience.
No, it was fun. It was annoying,
It
but
was
it
a
was
little
fun.
yeah.
I know it was, and we'll talk more about that because
Well, heck, you drew, according to John, you guys drew 450 people to the March City Music Hall. And that's beside where I was. I was at the Conference USA tournament for part of the night.
Yep.
So you guys were drawing 450 people over there, and we had a great crowd over at the Conference USA, and two just unbelievable men's games. I mean, an 80-77 win for Kennesaw State, late one over New Mexico State, and then I left at halftime because I was trying to continue to monitor our where we're home with the SEC tournament, and those games were amazing. Those four yesterday, but a double overtime Jeff from the Borough win over Louisiana Tech, 77-75. And guys, I just tell you, being around in a couple of days this week, the ferocity in which these teams play when you know only one team is going to March Madness, it's like you're playing for your lives. It's just it's almost a different level of intensity that they're playing with. And credit to Joel Lamb, Mark Russell, everybody with the Huntsville Sports Commission and Algar City. But great event so far. And we've got the semifinals in this morning and afternoon for the men, and then tonight the women. Just 4 high-level games to go over at CUSA. And then tomorrow afternoon and night, the two tournaments will be decided on Saturday. But it's been another very successful, I think, week for our city to have the Conference USA tournament the second straight year.
No doubt. It's definitely special, and it's awesome to hear about Middle Tennessee getting the win yesterday because that's their first win against La Tech this season as they got shut out throughout the season. But it's good to see it happen, and it's also good to see this tournament just bringing in the crowd, and hopefully it builds up into the weekend. And that's one big reason why we're going to be having a special guest on today in the form of Grayson Hello from Away TV, because she's going to let you know.
She's the expert.
Yeah, she's going to let you know what the weather is going to be like this weekend. And I hear it's supposed to be bad, but she probably has the technical terms for it.
here's what's bad. Normally, it's me that reaches out to her, like, hey, I kind of at the app, and I kind of was like, she messaged me on I want to say Wednesday or Tuesday. It's like, hey, by the way, bad weather coming in this weekend. I said, okay, then we'll probably need to get you on. Yeah, we'll probably need to get you on.
The interesting part, though, is I'm headed to Nashville.
Yep.
It may get a little dicey there, but it seems like it's more Birmingham centric.
Yeah,
maybe the Rocket City, a little bit of the Rocket City.
The SEC's already they announced this a little while ago that they are going to move in all the festivities that they always do, like right on the concourse and everything that's right outside of the Bridgestone. They're moving that all inside,
right?
Because of the way that the weather is supposed to be going. So it's going to be one that's you're going to want to stay in the arena, make sure you're paying attention, all that, especially with the way that parking is going to be downtown in Nashville. It's going to be crazy. And unless you've got a parking spot right beside the arena, you just be smart, make sure you know where you're going, everything. And I'm not going to lie, everybody who's ever known me in Nashville knows I get scooters. Do the little scooter thing.
You scoot, Joe?
You're a scooter? I already asked Joe about this. I said, Joe, what did you do? I do the show. He's like, hey, man, our station was just a scooter ride away from Bridgestone.
What I did is when I was driving to Nashville, I would get a Lime or a Bird or whatever, because there's different companies that have them. I would find the closest one to our studio. I would go and I would grab that on the very first day of the tournament because we always broadcast from the tournament when I was there.
You locked that one in.
And so what I did was I would always take it, park it in the same spot at Bridgestone, right beside where you enter where the media entrance is. And then I would go back out, drive it right back to the studio, park it right beside my car, where I know I was parking my car. Wow. And so I had that scooter for the entire weekend. There you go. That was what I did.
Drew. It was the Hunk.
Yeah.
Drew, you should take some notes, Drew. You might want to hop on a scooter.
Well, I'm counting on the Brett Beard now because I'm not traveling by myself. I like traveling with a compatriot. We're going to be riding the shuttle. We ride the shuttle. And I will be honest with you, they do a great job with that too because they take you right up to the front door and they run them late at night. So as you heard already, David Sis was home at 1:30 in the morning. They take you back to your car. And luckily, you're right next to the interstate. That's the beautiful thing about the setup with Nissan Stadium, where it's located. It's easy on, easy off, kind of thing right there. And hopefully, a lot of the weather will be gone by the time I get out of there. Because again, we'll see, and I'll be listening to Grace. later this morning. But hopefully, and Godspeed with everyone. We don't want anyone to be affected. But I know that as Joe already mentioned, this weather has been something people have been looking toward kind of all week.
Well, and with the arena, we always know that Kentucky fans travel well to the SEC tournament.
Yeah.
So do Alabama fans. And so now those fan bases are going to be in the arena at the same time tonight with that game because Kentucky won last night.
And don't forget, I think Jimmy Lay was texting me yesterday. We really didn't get a chance to talk about it on the show today because there's a lot of stuff going on. But I think this is the anniversary of the tornado that hit Atlanta in that 2008 tournament, which, of course, luckily no one was affected fan-wise, thank God, because it blew through Atlanta. But everybody was in the arena because the game went into overtime with Mikael Riley making a big shot against Mississippi State. And then Richard Hendricks played in that game. Richard's actually doing the American Conference, and we couldn't get him on today. But, yeah, I mean, that was a shot that saved a lot of lives because there was nobody – they were all in the arena.
Yep, it was 17 years ago tonight. 17 years ago. It was March 14th, 2008. And I remember I'll be honest, I fell asleep during the game, and I woke up during with 30 seconds to go in regulation. 30 seconds to go in regulation. I wake up because I doze off on the couch. I wake up and I'm watching the game, and I'm like, oh, this is kind of a good game. And then obviously we know the story.
Yeah, nobody really knew what was going on outside.
No, and the next thing you know, halfway through the OT, you look up and you just start seeing everything just start to shake. Jeez. And no, seriously, and
you're coming out from the ceiling, Johnny. Like, what's all this stuff coming?
Thankfully, it was a little bit stronger, and the Superdome could withstand the elements compared to Tropicana, who is having problems right now.
No, if you would have been playing in Tropicana, Hendricks would have went for a 3, and the tornado would have took it.
Well, here's the thing: it did enough damage, though, John, because this was one of those unforgettable years that they had to move the rest of the tournament basically to Georgia Tech, and then Georgia was the last seed in the tournament and made history. They became the only team ever, and Dennis Felton was about to get fired. They won the tournament as the last seed. Nobody. They were the 12th seed in the tournament because there were 12 teams back in those days, and they won the tournament. They had to win 2 games in one day because of the games being postponed because of this weather. Because basically, they let the Alabama-Mississippi State game finish, and then chaos ensued. They had to basically postpone games, things of that nature. And Georgia beat Kentucky during that day. They won 2 games in one day because they were trying to play catch-up. And Dennis Felton and the Dogs qualified for the NCAA tournament. Now, much like Kevin Keats and NC State, the next year Dennis Felton got fired. It just bought him a year. But, I mean, it was insane. And I wasn't there. I was like Joe. I was watching from home, and the severe weather didn't really hit this area. You had no idea what was going on, and then all of a sudden, all this stuff comes coming down from the ceiling. Everybody's like, "We think there's some tornadic activity." And it's like, what?
Yep.
Like, it is insane.
It's crazy to think about. 2008. That was, I believe, it was around the time I went to my very first SEC fan fair.
Oh,
it was going into that Alabama-Florida rivalry.
Oh, yeah.
It was wild because nobody was allowed in the arena at Georgia Tech except for media members and I want to say it was just close family.
It was almost like a COVID crowd.
Yes, it's exactly. It would have been exactly if we would have played the tournament through COVID, it would have looked just like it did in 2008 when everybody was at Georgia Tech. They had that thing on lockdown because the city in downtown Atlanta was a disaster because the tornado literally hit the buildings there, the Western Hotel, the Cylinder that's in the middle of Atlanta is part of the skyline. I used to stay there, and the top floors had the windows shattered and everything out of it. They had to board them all up and everything. So you didn't fall out.
Well, let's not manifest any tornadoes. Okay, it's already going to be bad enough. But I do want to get into some of the SEC. Joe or Drew, sorry, you were the one that has been focusing heavily on this. We've kind of just been all over the place. Of course, Havoc and UAH today, and we'll tell you guys a little bit more about it. But we already brought up Kentucky and Oklahoma, and this one, it seemed like Kentucky had this one in the bag right out the gates, Drew. But it ended up being a close one and a good finale.
It was back and forth for the majority of the game, but then with about 4 or 5 minutes left on the clock. Kentucky went on like a 10-0 run, 11-0 run, and it just looked like it was over. They got up 11-12. I'm not going to lie. Joe was talking about how he had fallen asleep in 08. I wasn't asleep, but I was upstairs like, okay, putting clothes in.
Late.
Let's get some clothes ready. We got to be ready. We got to get there in time. We got Jimmy Lake coming. We got to be ready. Got to be everything. Get our ducks in a row. We're going to be leaving right after. To go to Nashville. We got to make sure we got everything ready. And then I go back down. And Kentucky's turning the ball over. They're missing free throws. I'm like, what's going on? And then, Oklahoma made some big shots. I mean, Jeremy Fears was unreal. And then when they had the final turnover and Fears made the layup, I thought, oh, my God, this is going to be an Alabama-level collapse against Tennessee. I thought, the Sooners are going to steal this game, and Alabama will be playing Oklahoma. But, Ortega always said, hold my beer, and did it again and turned the corner and made the shot at the buzzer. So now the Big Blue Nation will take on Alabama. Now, the big storyline, though, we heard David Six this morning, is Lamont Butler. He re-injured his shoulder. They did an MRI imaging. I don't know what they found. They wouldn't really say. He did not play the rest of the game. And David Sisk, who was there on press row, said it was hanging. He didn't look good. I would venture to say that they're going to hold him out and just hope and pray they can get him in good enough shape to play in the NCAAs. We won't see him against Alabama tonight, which makes the task harder. Now, Kentucky's still very capable. It's Kentucky. But I would favor Alabama in this matchup. Alabama rested. I know they've never beaten Kentucky 3 times in the season. But, I mean, it's one of those things where there's always a first time. I think Alabama knows what's at stake. They have a very narrow path, guys, for a 1 seed. That narrow path would be beating Kentucky. Then you get a shot very likely at Florida, who I like over Missouri in a rematch because I think Florida's been looking to get a little revenge here. And Mizzou had to exert a lot, 85-73, because that was much closer than the score indicated. It was a back-and-forth game.
Good Mississippi State team.
Yeah, the last 3 or 4 minutes, with some free throws and some missed shots, they finally pulled away, did Mizzou in the last couple of minutes. But I just think overall, I like the Gators in that matchup, which would set up Alabama-Florida again. Florida's won the last 3 matchups, counting 1 this year, 2 a year ago. So, they've kind of had Alabama's number, but Alabama, if they can upset Florida, and that would be considered an upset at this time because I picked Florida before the tournament to win it. I picked them to beat Auburn again and win the tournament and be a 1 seed. But I think the only way Florida gets knocked off the 1 line is if Alabama or Tennessee win this tournament. I think if Florida just makes the finals against Auburn and Florida are locked in. But I think the one play Florida could lose the 1 line is to not win this tournament in Alabama or Tennessee to do it. Auburn's locked in. I think they're good. But I think Auburn will waylay Ole Miss today. May be wrong about that, but they've already beat them twice. And I don't think it's a good matchup for Ole Miss. And then Tennessee and Texas. Texas is fighting for their lives. I know we talked about it this morning. Marty's now doing brackets every 2 hours.
Yeah, sure. So after every game, he updates.
Yeah. So his latest update is Texas is one of the last 4 in. And so they're in right now. But if they don't beat Tennessee, and then at North Carolina taking on a Duke team that's shorthanded today, if Carolina can win that and then potentially win the ACC tournament, can that knock Texas out? There's going to be some other Cinderella stories to follow in other conference tournaments. So Texas, I think if they win today, if they were to upset Tennessee, they're in. That would be 14 teams, which would be a record. But I felt like going into the tournament that they had to win at least 3. Yeah. And so I think they still need to beat Tennessee today.
So I've been doing some research on this because it always Kentucky in the SEC tournament, it just feels like they're always going to be winning. Yeah. I know that you're talking about Alabama and Kentucky tonight. The history the teams have since 2000, they have met 6 different times in the SEC tournament. Do either of you know what the record is?
And say that again.
Okay, so since 2000, Alabama and Kentucky have met 6 separate times in the SEC tournament.
Right.
Do you know the record of those matchups?
I think it's 0-6.
It is 0-6. So that's why I sit here and think to myself, like, does history play into this?
Well, I already got someone send me this message. I mean, I'm waking up this morning. It's already been sent to my phone. Joe Higginbotham, he sent me a message on X. hey, Drew, can Alabama change this? They've lost 12 straight to Kentucky. Now, they've beaten Kentucky in the SEC tournament in the past, but this is the last 12 times they've met. Because Nate Oates, he's won it twice in 5 years, going into this is year 6. The 2 times he won it, didn't have to play Kentucky. And then it looked like last night that that late comeback, they may not have to play Kentucky, but they're going to have to play Kentucky now. So we'll see. Avery Johnson could never really get past the Kentucky hump, but his era was during a time when Calipari from 15 to 18 won it 4 in a row. I mean, they were dominating. So we'll see. I mean, Kentucky hasn't won it since 18. I'll just say I like the matchup for Alabama, especially with Lamont Butler being hurt. Now, when Lamont was healthy enough to play against Alabama, he was still banged up, but he was healthy enough to play. That was a track meet. It was 102-97. He played a great game. It was a high-level basketball game. The second time he did not play, it was still a competitive game, but Alabama systematically pulled away 96-83 in Tuscaloosa. I still like Alabama today. I think I looked, Joe, I was looking at the point spreads. I think they're a 6.5-point favorite right now. I think if Alabama can play a fast tempo, can push the basketball, and the key will be, though, the defense and rebounding. If they defend and rebound like they did against Tennessee and Auburn, they're going to win this game. If they're dead legged and don't play with as much intensity even though they were playing and they still played a competitive game against Florida, you just never felt like they had that edge. If they don't have the edge, Kentucky can steal the game. But I think if Alabama plays with an edge today, and they should get Darion Reed back, I'm going to go ahead and make that call. And they should be as healthy as they've been in a while. I think Alabama's depth's going to wear Kentucky down. Kentucky doesn't have an experienced point guard. I think Alabama, if the game gets into the 90s, I like Alabama's chances. I know Kentucky can score, but I'm going to go somewhere around 92 to 80 Alabama over Kentucky.
So I just looked at that at ESPN Bets. It is at 6.5-point spread right now in favor of Alabama.
Right.
It is. I also I've been on Alabama's website, and I emphasize this because it's Alabama's website, not just a random one. So if anybody at me, I looked at all the times throughout history that Alabama and Kentucky have played each other on a neutral site game. The last time that Alabama beat Kentucky in a neutral site game, I wasn't even born.
Whoa.
It was 1982-83 was the last time that Alabama beat Kentucky in a neutral site game.
Let me ask, is it the 48-46 SEC tournament final?
This was let me go back. Let me find where it was. This one was 69-64. 69-64. But the 48-46 happened the previous season.
That was actually when the SEC tournament was on other people on the team's campuses. That was actually in Rome.
Okay.
Oh,
so that's also
See, that's why I'm looking. I was like 1983 because even there's some of them on Alabama's website that'll say it was neutral site, but then it would say Tuscaloosa, and I'm going, that's not neutral site. Like I mean neutral site. Yeah.
So you're saying 1983, 84, about probably 84, 69, 64. It's been a while.
It has been. Again, it was the 82 season, and I'm thinking to myself, that is a long time. Now, they've beaten them before, since then, but I'm talking about neutral site in March, SEC tournaments.
And it's been a while in the SEC tournament since they beat Kentucky.
This is the time, though, this time of year, this 2025 season where Kentucky has seen themselves lose those games that they're used to winning. Against Auburn, of course, it happened. Auburn was able to get the win in Rupp, and that was one that really was a change of the history, And for this team, without Butler, without Robinson, this is a Kentucky team that is still really good, but they've been hurt this entire season. So leading into this game, you feel like Alabama should still have the edge in it. But Drew, before we get out of here, I do want to look at this Ole Miss team coming in to face off against Auburn, because this is another one that our listeners are heavily focused on. And Ole Miss, of course, was able to get ahead yesterday in the first half. Second half,
they were up 15.
Their rebounds, the defensive rebounds were insane. It looked like the Razorbacks were about to bring this one into either overtime or just take it away at the final moments. But first of all, talk about Perry ending out the season, as well as talk about Ole Miss going and facing off against the Tigers.
Well, I mean, I thought Calipari and the Razorbacks, they were up 80-77. I thought they were really going to steal this game, and I saw to win it. I thought they had a chance of all the teams on the first day, on Wednesday. I thought they could make the deepest run. And they even gave Auburn a game in Neville, so I knew they they were capable. Now, they only had 7 guys. 0 being hurt is not ideal, and they've been without Boogie for a while. But they really, and even Evo, he's been hurt. But I thought they were going to steal it, but then, it just even though he's been playing really good basketball, Trevon Brazile, little mistake, gets up an and one, then he misses 2 free throws, and then Sean Padula hadn't made a shot the entire game. Besides, hey, gonna need some onions right here. He's a senior. He's a transfer from Virginia Tech. He made big shots all year. Takes this big shot, rips it, and they win it. But I just don't think they match up well with Auburn. And then you go into the mentality Auburn's going to be playing with. They are pissed off. They had their first losing streak of the season where they've lost 2 in a row to A&M and Alabama. They're the regular season champ. Bruce has won this twice. He's wanting to win it a third time. And they blew out all this in Neville Arena the last time they played by 30. It was a competitive game, the Pavilion. I like Auburn by 15 plus today, though. I really think they're going to come out to try to make a statement. I respect Chris Beard and Ole Miss, but I don't like this matchup for them. I think Auburn I think Denver Jones has a chance to heal, and Jonah is coming off one of the best games of his career. I just really like this Auburn team and where they are, and I like Auburn to march on. I like the Big Four today. I like Auburn. I like Tennessee because I think Texas is on fumes right now. I just can't see that happening. And then certainly I like Florida to get revenge against Mizzou, and the Tide to march on. And boy, if that happens, we're going to have some, Joe Frazier, Muhammad Ali stuff coming up on Saturday.
No doubt about that. Drew DeArmond from Basketball has been our guest. Drew, we appreciate you as always, man. Safe travels up to Nashville.
Hey, y'all stay safe. Y'all be wearing a million hats this week. This has been a busy, busy week at 97.7 Zone. We've been able to do a great job.
You're the only one wearing a hat here, Drew.
Yeah.
That's true.
I got scolded by a Havoc fan, and when I wore a hat last time, and she was 4.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's because you got your staple. That's your staple piece, Joe.
I did. I wore a hat to a Havoc game, and the first thing that she said to me was, "Why are you in a hat?" I was like, "Can I not just wear a hat? Well, I have 50 of them, and I mean, I would like to wear one every once in a while. I am so sorry. So now I can never wear a hat again to a Havoc."
It's just what you did to yourself whenever you decided to cut that insanely cool-looking mohawk you got there. But either way, we got to take a break. When we get back, we'll let you guys know a little bit more about our adventures that we had yesterday with Rudy Armand has been our guest. If you missed out on that, go and check out WZZN TV or our SoundCloud, and you'll actually be able to listen to that interview in its fullest. But we'll be right back here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone, ESPN Winchester, and WZZN TV.
We aren't a winning school. We are a championship school, and we make legends. Join the Crimson Tide as they look to continue to rise to the top of the NCAA basketball mountain on your home for Alabama basketball.
Listen to Alabama basketball all season long on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is you need a new roof, not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
This is Steve Moulton from 97.7 ESPN The Zone, and this is What's Happening. Be sure and download our app. Just search 977 ESPN in your Google Marketplace or your Apple Store, depending on your device, so you can take us wherever you might go. And you can also check out our latest zone deals. Head over to our website, 977ESPN.com. The top left banner reads, "Savings never tasted so good." Click on that, then enter in the Big Zone Deals store for half-off zone deals of Lawler's Barbecue, Sea Salt, Carrabba's Italian Grill, Bubby's Diner, Corlejos Mexican Grill, Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, Divergence, Full Moon Barbecue, Bigfoot Little Donuts, Hickory Store Barbecue, Good Company Cafe, Apple Lane Farms, the Decatur location, and rounds of golf at Cherokee Ridge Golf Course and Gunter's Landing. And that's what's happening. It is that time of year. Time to get your brackets ready to go. Steve Moulton here with 97.7 ESPN The Zone. And again, it's time to test out your basketball knowledge. We are your home for March Madness, but also brackets as well. Simply sign up, head over to our website, 977ESPN.com, or our social media sites at 977ESPN on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram. But head over to our website, and a link will be there for you to join in, 977ESPN.com. Our winner will get an overnight stay at the Lodge at Guntersville State Park, a foursome at Cherokee Ridge, and $100 worth of food. We'll also have prizes for second and third place as well. It's our Bracket Challenge 2025 style. And head over to our website, 977ESPN.com, and sign up today.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly cloudy sky this afternoon. We do get to enjoy a little bit of sunshine. A couple of rogue showers are possible across the Tennessee Valley. Through the heart of the afternoon, early into the evening, we are going to be warm. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 70s, dropping into the lower 60s. We are talking about the chance for some strong and severe thunderstorms across the Tennessee Valley. All modes of severe weather are going to be possible all day Saturday, and then as we head into the earliest hours of Sunday morning. Temperatures climbing into the lower 70s on Saturday. Cooler Sunday afternoon. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Listen weekday afternoons starting at 5 on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
It's perfect.
Into the Blitz, the most energetic show here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. John Abraham, Joe Hunk on a interesting Friday because honestly, Joe, it felt like yesterday was supposed to be Friday and today is just, but also the weather is also going to be something on Saturday and we still got more to do tomorrow.
Also want to applaud the Cantina Band right there from Star Wars for hopping in and just jamming out there as we come back.
I think this might have been one of Bandy's songs that he threw in there, but definitely, interesting. And hey, it gets me pumped up because we got a long day and we got to be ready for it. But
trust me, pumped up is not what it makes me. But yes, we have a very long day.
100% effort, Joe.
Yeah, maximum effort. Deadpool never had anything else right except for that right there. Maximum effort. Okay, I said a lot of things right.
That's what it's all about, Joe. And that's what got us through yesterday. But before we talk a little bit more about our journey to Pelham to watch the Havoc and also call that game and then distribute it to the people here in West Alabama, as they like to say up there in Pelham or down there in Pelham. I do want to remind everybody that this show is presented by the wonderful people over at Fleming Roofing and Restoration. And I bet that the Superdome back in 2008 probably had a Fleming roof above.
The Georgia Dome.
The Georgia Dome, sorry.
Superdome got hit by Katrina, not a tornado.
But hey, they're still up. Regardless of that, I bet they had Fleming Roofing and Restoration above them. They are the people that you need to talk to about all of your roofing needs. If you're having any roofing problems, make sure you look them up online at FlemingHSV.com.
Be careful, the Tampa Bay Rays may be reaching out for
that would be a big
Fleming
job.
Roofing and Restoration to help them out.
I don't know if they can get that fixed before then. It's
domes.
A big room.
We know you do houses. You do domes?
Yeah.
Just curious.
I don't know. They like the shingle stuff, and if that's on top of your house, which most people probably have it, they'll be able to get it fixed up for you, whether you need a full restoration or just a small fix. That's what they can do, and it's FlemingHSV.com, the place to find them. On top of that, Joe, it is the season for brackets, and we know Joe Lenardi is very busy right now setting up a bunch of these brackets almost every single second of the day because there's always a game going on, and on top of that, Jerry Palm over for CBS doing the exact same thing. And I'm going to keep an eye on Jerry Palm's. You can keep an eye on Lenardi's because they're going to have different, brackets, different teams that they might have on the list on the way out, on their way in. And we're definitely going to be focusing on that. But you should be as well. The listeners should be as well. Because we have the 2025 Bracket Challenge presented by Talent Heating and Air coming to you guys. And you are going to want to get in on this. If there's just one bracket that you're going to fill out, this is the one you're going to want to do. And you're going to want to go over to our X, go over to our Facebook, and you're going to want to click on the Bracket Challenge, go to the link, take it to it, get your eyeballs on it, and start getting a little taste for the madness because it is coming quick and it'll get started on the 20th. So be ready, be prepared, and make sure you have your hand on the dial. And if you're going to call in, you definitely want to ask some questions. 256-576-4977 is the number to get in, as well as over on our chat on WZZN TV that is running live. And we say hi to you, Matthew, as he is already joined in on the programming. We just had Drudy Armand on. Talk a little bit about the SEC tournament, Joe.
Speaking of the SEC tournament, wanted to add something to what we were talking about. The neutral site game that Alabama beat Kentucky back in 1983. When I think of the SEC tournament, I always think about simply the Nashville. It's always in Nashville.
New Orleans,
New Orleans,
other places.
Well, Tampa, those types of places. This one actually took place with the SEC tournament was being played in Birmingham.
Oh, okay.
At the BJCC.
Wow.
So it was obviously a neutral site game. It was the SEC tournament. I didn't realize that the BJCC used to host the SEC tournament.
You think they filled it out like they do the Bridgestone? Because they're filling the Bridgestone Arena out right now. I don't know.
They had to for that game, right?
I don't know.
Back in 1983, like they had to.
You think the SEC?
If there's any YouTube clips.
I know the SEC has been huge for quite some time now, but I feel like at this moment in 2025. I feel like not just the SEC, but college football, college basketball, just college athletics. It could be gymnastics. It's at its peak, I would say. I think that, nationwide, even worldwide, I feel like people are keeping an eye on it. The same way we have people in, Paris that are huge football fans, not the football, but football fans for NFL teams. It might be like that. But Joe, are you finding a YouTube video?
I am looking to see if there was actually any YouTube videos that were up of this because obviously it's 1983. It's not like, you had 75 cameras just all around it. No, there's not any right now that at least I can find.
All right. Well, keep an eye on that. And I do want to look back at some of these other games because we didn't get a lot of upsets yesterday. All right. Not like we did on day one where we got to see Texas beat Vanderbilt, which it's just a one seed back. We didn't get to see a team like Oklahoma win against the Kentucky like they did in round one against Georgia. The closest thing we got to it was actually Texas versus Texas A&M. And these are, of course, it's a heated rivalry that we love that it got pretty much just revived once Texas joined back into the SEC. But Texas was able to get the win last night, 94-89. And this one's the first shocker, all right? I knew that there was a chance Mississippi State would lose to Mizzou, okay? But thinking about Texas getting the upper hand against a really good Texas A&M team, they out-physicaled them. That's not the way to really throw it at you, but they did it.
Well, and this is just proof that of which Texas team is the real Texas team. Let's because now Texas A&M and Texas played each other. They split during the regular season, and then they play each other in the SEC tournament. And Texas is the team that wins. Look, this is it. This is what Texas and Texas A&M is going to be in every single sport. I don't care if you're playing in the SEC tournament in basketball, football, soccer, if it's going to be lawn darts, it is anything it's going to be. If Texas and Texas A&M are playing each other in a tournament, it is going to be intense, and most likely Texas is going to win.
Oh, yeah. Well, I agree with you. But in this sport, this season, I felt like Texas A&M just had the better team. They had the better defense, and they would be able to hold Texas to a reasonable amount of points. But 94, I mean, that's the most points that was scored yesterday altogether. So that is definitely a surprise right there. So that was the battle for Texas. Now it's the battle for UT.
Which one's the real UT?
Which one's the real UT?
Which one's the real UT?
This might be the last time we see these two teams face off this season. It's definitely going to be interesting to see. But let's hop into the phone lines. Already taking calls. You can call in as well. 576-97.7 is the number to get in. And Jay's got a little bit of a story for us. Jay, how you doing today, man?
Doing good, John. Joe, how you, buddy?
Doing good, man.
Wonderful.
Go back and look at those videos when it was in the BJCC. Packed house, especially the first year when Arkansas and South Carolina came in the league. Great games between Alabama and Auburn. And there's a YouTube video out there of when Tennessee played LSU, and Shaq goes up, try to get a dunk, and the guy for Tennessee grabs Shaq around the waist, and Shaq turns around and swings. Dale Brown runs out on the floor wanting to whoop the guy from Tennessee because he tried to take Shaq out.
Heck yeah.
But yeah, that was the awesome thing to go to back in the day before it went to I think it went 2 campuses first, and then they decided on the BJCC, and then once these bigger arenas and started opening up, that's when they started moving it to different places because at the time the BJCC, which is now the Legacy Arena, needed to been renovated. It was kind of smaller, need to be renovated, and finally when they got all the money from the city to renovate to make it Legacy Arena now for it to hold regionals and stuff, it's now a great site, which now the SEC tournament's going to be in Nashville from, I guess, till the next 10 or 15 years. So, but the Bridgestone's a great facility anyway. It's a center point for all the schools to come to. And like I said, if Kentucky would have got beat last night, it'd have been more Alabama people in there today, more than any Alabama and Auburn people probably, because once Kentucky fans lose, they're gone. They sell their tickets and get out of town.
Oh yeah, no, they buy everything up early, and then after they buy it all up early, whenever they get eliminated, whether it's the NCAA tournament or the SEC tournament, then you're able to get in for cheap. Like that's how it happens so many times. And yeah, right now the SEC tournament is at the moment scheduled to be in Bridgestone through 2030.
Yep,
that's what it's in as the moment. Yeah.
And we've had some buddies talk about, well, since Oklahoma and Texas come in the league, would they ever move it to Dallas? American
I sure
Airlines
hope
Arena.
not. Jeez, I sure hope not.
They moved the SEC Media Day, so you never know. You never know when money talks.
Yeah.
You know what walks. So
I think it would be a big mistake. I got to be honest. Driving, and I got to drive with 4 other dudes just packed inside of this Kia. I forgot exactly what model it was, but it definitely wasn't big enough. But it definitely made the 10 hours feel a lot longer. And just the thought of a person from Huntsville, who is kind of in the center of everything SEC. Just the thought of that, and then you're thinking about the guys over in South Carolina, or the guys down in Florida. It's an unnecessary drive, and obviously it's still a long one for the guys out there at Texas A&M. But I mean, they got a lot of the times you see them, they'll come out anyway. Either they fly in or anything like that. But I feel like the center point of the SEC is definitely in Nashville, and I don't think you could even say Atlanta would be the center point because it's another hour and a half or another few hours to the right of us. But if they move it to Dallas, I think there would be a huge stir in the fan base.
Yeah, you're right, but you never know, John. And going back to Kentucky, this has been several years ago. Me and some buddies went to the tournament when it was at the Georgia Dome. This was after the tornado issue. And one morning after, it was Toby Smith's first year when he got put out the night they were one and done. So we're down in the lobby eating breakfast, and these 4 Kentucky guys were sitting there eating breakfast, and they got up and left. And this was when it was still paper books, not digital.
Oh yeah.
They left 4 books on the table, left them. So we get up to leave, and I tell my buddies, I'm like, man, we got to go over and get the books. And they're like, no, we can't steal those. They might have left them and just forgot about them. So we're going back to the room and getting ready to go to the dome, and we seen them packing up. And I asked one of them, I said, hey, man, y'all left those books on that table. And he's like, we don't want them. Y'all can have them. So we had semifinal tickets and we had final tickets for free because they just left them there.
That's pretty awesome.
One man's trash is another man's treasure.
That's pretty legit.
Amen, brother. Hey, appreciate y'all having Grace on, and y'all be safe this weekend, and we'll talk to y'all soon.
Hey, no, we appreciate it, man. In fact, yeah, Grace is going to be coming up in a little under an hour from right now. She's going to be on it at 10:30. Also, because we were talking about the sites that the SEC tournament and everything has been in. This is the 11th time that the SEC tournament is being played at Bridgestone. Okay. Where does that rank it?
All time? Like how many times?
All time out of all the different venues that have hosted the SEC basketball tournament.
Jeez, Joe, you're throwing things at me that I'm gonna.
I'm making you think this morning because I can't think.
Okay, well, I can talk. I can't think though, Joe.
Yeah,
I mean, I can throw out the common stuff.
You were the passenger in the car. I was the one having
We
to
did
focus
the same
on the road.
things. Me and Joe, we literally talked for the entire way there and the entire way back. I could have hopped on my phone at any moment. I could have just listened to some music myself.
Honestly, look, no, I was fully prepared. Like even driving down, I was like, all right, so if John decides he wants to take a nap, which I totally get, because if I was in his situation, I would totally take a nap.
And it was our first time riding together on like a little bit of a road trip.
Absolutely. We never turned the radio on.
No, I didn't know what was going on in the SEC tournament. I had no idea. Like,
oh no,
there could have been something catastrophic that happened to my household, and I wouldn't have known.
We actually could have gotten home and finished the Kentucky game if we wouldn't have been talking and we would have been paying attention, because we pulled into the studio at like 12:10 last night.
Was it 12:10? I thought it was like 11:40 or something.
No, it was maybe it was when I pulled in the house. It was 12:10.
Yeah, probably, because I still ended up getting a shower in, which was good.
So we like that was it. There, we never turned the radio on. We never turned any sort of extra audio except for one time when I showed him a movie trailer. Well, he looked it up. I just told him about it.
What was it? Spinners?
No, sliders.
Sliders.
Yeah, sliders.
Oh, dude.
This is the conversations we were having on the drive. We
Now
started
I'm
talking
hungry.
about traveling in through in multiverses. Okay.
It looked cheesy.
And it wasn't. It was so cheesy.
And
it was
wasn't
early 90s.
And it wasn't like a loaded cheesy slider. It was just cheesy.
Yeah, it was.
God.
Yeah, that totally different slider. And I'm thinking to myself, like, we drove back and forth with no radio, talking the entire time. And I was actually surprised because I had movies set up just in case. And all right, if it gets quiet, he wants to go to sleep, I'll throw this movie on and I'm going to watch it. So I was fully prepared on this.
Joe, I was going to ask you this question yesterday. Okay. You have this little screen above your display that has, of course, like the directions and all that stuff.
Yeah.
That little screen, which is about maybe 4 inches, I would say, wide.
Yeah.
Is that what you watch the movies on? What is that for?
No, that's actually a baby monitor.
I was actually thinking that in my head. I was like, it couldn't be a baby.
No,
monitor.
yeah, the behind where you were sitting is where my daughter sits.
Oh,
and so one of the gifts that we were given when she was born was a camera, a baby camera. So instead of doing like the mirror thing where you put like a mirror up on it so that you can look through your windshield, your rear view mirror, and look at them.
I got one in the shag wagon that actually comes down and it's just like this fisheye lens mirror.
Totally different reasons. But and so what that is that's a camera. And whenever you turn it on, it shoots the video is coming from the feed looking at her. So like this morning, I went and took her to see to her mother or my mother-in-law's house. And in doing so, I just pushed one of the buttons down underneath the console and it turns that camera on. And so I can see her as I'm driving right there on the monitor.
There's got to be a way we can wire that to where
there
it plays
actually
movies.
is. Yeah, I've seen a lot of those like on TeamU and stuff where you can actually do like a wireless connection and do like a video mirroring onto your display. Yeah, no, it trust me, I've tried a lot of things.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I can just imagine you putting your computer in the baby seat and then opening it up and like turning on Netflix, watching The Sopranos or something.
I've tried that. I've also tried bringing the iPad and setting the iPad up on there. But right now, normally what I do is I just put my cell phone and I put it right over the speedometer. Because you don't need to know how fast you're driving when you're on the interstate.
No, you don't.
And so you put it right on the speedometer, and that's the way that I did it. In all reality, I have a speedometer that's on whenever I'm using Waze, so it tells me how fast I'm going. So it's a secondary.
Yeah, it was yelling at you quite a bit yesterday. We were flying. We were flying. It was like I was driving with Tokyo Drift, which you know.
But I will have the answer for you as John has evaded the question of where the 11 hosting times that Bridgestone Arena has hosted the SEC tournament, where that ranks in SEC basketball history That's next, coming up on 97.7 ESPN The Zone, ESPN Winchester, and WZZN TV.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. AI-powered betting models to help you make sharper picks during March Madness. Free 7-day trial available now at rhythm.com. That's RITHMM.com.
Auburn and Alabama open up play in the SEC tournament, the quarterfinal round today. Auburn, the favorite to win the tournament title. They're 10.5-point favorites over Ole Miss. 154.5 the total in the Bridgestone Arena in Nashville. Ole Miss knocked off Arkansas 83-80 yesterday to advance. Meanwhile, Alabama takes on Kentucky. They outlasted Oklahoma 85-84 yesterday. The Crimson Tide, 6.5-point favorites over the Wildcats, 180.5 the total. Jacksonville State of the semifinals of the Conference USA tournament. The Gamecocks laying 1.5 against Middle Tennessee State, 139.5 the total. For more, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Eagle Masonry and Installation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed cracks in your drywall, chimney, or exterior walls? I hope not, because if you have, they could be indications that you've got a much bigger problem with your foundation. That's where AFS comes in, a groundworks company. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to stabilize your foundation. Schedule your free inspection at afsrepair.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
I'm here with Vice President of Mortgage from Bank of Frank Ewing, John Kendall. And John, if you're hearing this commercial right now and you're thinking of getting a new house, boy, oh boy, do you guys have a deal.
We do. It's a grant. $25,000 if you're a veteran, $20,000 if you're not a veteran. This can be used for closing costs, down payment.
Very simple. All you have to do is give Bank of Frank Ewing a call at
256-507-9180.
And how long does this process take?
Oh, it takes just a few minutes, maybe 15, 30 minutes on the phone. We'll send you a link and you fill that out in your own time. We'll approve you.
Who would not want $25,000 for a new house? John Kendall, give them the phone number and online address one more time.
256-507-9180 or at bankoffrankewing.com.
It's Bank of Frank Ewing giving you $25,000 for a new house. Bank of Frank Ewing in Hazel Green is an FDIC insured bank as well as an equal housing lender.
NMLS number 446707.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
Hi, folks. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, inviting you to come test drive any one of our over 100 F-150s. From rock-solid, dependable work trucks to our state-of-the-art Platinum Series, we've got an F-150 for you. Test drive one today, and you'll understand why the F-150 is the best-selling truck in America, going on 48 years in a row. Just as successful offenses and defenses are built on teamwork, Woody Anderson Ford is powered by our people. Our sales and service teams are well trained to save you time and money. And because we want your business again and again, no one will work harder to earn it. Our mobile service teams come to your home or business for oil changes, brake work, tire rotations, and more. And the great thing is you don't pay extra for it. We come to you with mobile service at no extra charge. Proud to be local, family-owned, and at your service for over 62 years. Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore.
Hey, do you have heating and air issues as the springtime starts to roll around? Hey, there's just one name you need to know. Talent Heating and Air. #1 heating and air business right here in the Tennessee Valley.
Yeah, we're locally based. If you call, you're going to get somebody based in Huntsville. Mentioned in spring earlier, we can actually do indoor air quality products, so we can help alleviate those allergy problems you're having in your house.
All right, Thomas from Talent Heating and Air, give them the number that when they call, somebody live and local will pick up.
That's 256-503-4490.
And you can always head to the World Wide Web and find Talent Heating and Air, and you guys will still respond.
That's talenthvac.com. If you don't want to talk to a person right away, you can fill out a form on there and get scheduled for a visit.
That's Talent Heating and Air. They're live, they're local. It's Talent Heating and Air.
AL certain number 21014.
Can't get a ticket? Never miss a second of Huntsville Havoc hockey.
Huntsville has a 2-on-9, and that is okay. Tic-tac-toe, and off we go to Pensacola.
With the Havoc Zone, only on 97.7 ESPN.com and the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app.
Time for me to take it.
Hello and welcome back in to Blitz. John Abraham, Joe Hunk here on you with your Friday sports talk, goofy gaps, all of that good stuff. What do you expect? This is the Blitz here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone and ESPN Winchester. The phone line's still open to you, 256-576-97.7. Joe, are you ready to give me an answer? Because I could have used this time to look up stuff.
You
But
could have.
I decided to talk with you.
And I was actually kind of nervous that you would on this because so before this season, since the tournament hasn't completed yet, I'm not counting it as far as the hosting site just because of, never know what happens.
Nope.
But this is the right now going into the 2024 year. Last year, that was the 11th time that Bridgestone Arena had hosted the SEC basketball tournament.
Okay, so I'm going to say 2. I'm going to say they're second because I feel like back in the day, there had to be one time where they just went for a long stretch at a certain place. I don't know exactly where it could be.
There was, and then that was the Georgia Dome, because the Georgia Dome as well as Bridgestone up until this year, because once tournament completed, then it would be, 12th official times for Bridgestone Arena. The Georgia Dome hosted the SEC tournament for 11 times. The last time was back in 2014. Legacy Arena down in Birmingham has hosted the tournament 6 times. That is 4th place.
Okay.
The venue that is in 1st place has hosted 12 times, which is what Bridgestone is about to complete once the tournament is up with.
All right.
I promise you, I could give you 30 guesses. You would not guess what this is.
Is it still around today? Oh, that's the question, right?
The city is.
Well, the city. I mean, yeah, I'd hope so. It's not like original Rome.
Well, I mean, look. I mean, what was it? Was it Pompeii or whatever? What was it called? Pompeii, whatever it was.
Pompeii, yeah.
That got blown away. I mean, you never know. No, this place is still around, I believe.
The arena is.
It celebrated its 100th anniversary back in 2005.
Oh, geez. Oh, just tell me.
The Louisville Gardens in Louisville, Kentucky, hosted the SEC tournament from 1941 to 1952.
It's exactly what I was expecting. Something ridiculous that was, it was in the history.
Downtown Louisville.
Well, either way, we'll be back in the second hour, and Grace and Ella are going to be coming up soon.
Have you discovered Good Company Cafe? The place for breakfast, brunch, lunch, and so much more. Enjoy brunch all day and pair with one of our many seasonal refreshing drinks, including alcoholic and non-alcoholic options. Choose inside or outside on our gorgeous, spacious, dog-friendly patio. And have some fun with friends playing yard games in the courtyard. See catering, to-go options, and lots more at goodcompany-cafe.com. Good Company Cafe, 7500 South Memorial Parkway.
Let's talk about the X's and O's of family entertainment. Every parent in Alabama knows the importance of being able to draw up an activity that'll get you out of the house for a couple of hours. But it needs to be affordable. It needs to be family friendly. Above all, it needs to be fun. Now, let's talk about high school sports. Bang for your buck, school sports provide the perfect game plan for your family. You'll enjoy all of the drama and excitement competitive sports offer. You'll be supporting the future leaders of our community in a meaningful way. Best of all, you can take the entire family without breaking the bank. Heck, you won't even dent it. Now, enough chalk talk. Let's get out there and see what's playing at the high school in your community. School sports. Good for our kids, good for our community. This message presented by the Alabama High School Athletic Association and the Alabama High School Athletic Directors and Coaches Association.
Listen to UAH Charger basketball all season long.
So when we came out of the timeout, Coach Hedge had initially called a man play, and they ended up faking a zone. So the whole bench was yelling zone, zone, zone. So we tried to switch the play last second. We ended up getting confused. So Tommy swung it to me, and I initially was like, all right, I'm going to try and get to the rim right here. We're only down 2. We don't need a 3. And he flipped his hips real hard, and I tossed it back, and as soon as I let it go, I knew it was in.
Campbell to plug it in. 81-79 Union. Inbounds it goes. Dribbling it out from Tommy Murs. Swings it over to Campbell. Campbell on the wing for the lead. Oh, my God! Blake Campbell! It's a 3 into the front court for the win. No good! No good! No good! Blake Campbell with some onions from Jackson, Tennessee.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hey, everyone, let's all stop what we're doing and take a moment. You see, every moment can be kind of special. But they can be loud moments, goofy moments, dorky moments. It doesn't matter. Because every time dads like us take a moment like that to spend with our kids, well, it's pretty momentous. So let's take a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
I'm here with Stan McDonald of Jacob Title. Stan, I've heard that every real estate closing at Jacob Title is a very big deal. Why is that?
Wes, I'm reminded of a very impactful statement that I heard from Coach Gene Stallings years ago when he talked about big games and little games. He said he didn't like that comparison. He says, because try losing one of those little games. And if you ever do, it ends up being the biggest game all year long. Well, it's the same thing with real estate closings. Every game, every closing is a very big deal at Jacob Title. Because when it's your closing and your contract on the line, it's a very big deal, and we understand that at Jacob Title.
So it sounds like whether your client is a first-time residential buyer or a multi-million-dollar investor, they can expect your A game.
That's exactly right. As a matter of fact, when you bring your real estate closing to us at Jacob Title, we understand it's all about trust and confidence. And when Stan McDonald tells you that a chicken dips snuff, you can look under his wing for the box.
And like Beebs likes to say, there's no doubt about it.
The Drive.
You know, both those guys have done a good job in what we've asked them to do. And both of them have developed nicely, and both of them have consistently made plays.
Wes and Steve.
Their decision-making, their judgment, their ability not to force things and take what the defense gives and distribute the ball with good decision making, down in, down out, is, you know, probably the only thing that's going to be any different about them, because it's not physical ability or talent. So it's intangibles, leadership, decision making, judgment, and all those types of things. And you know, both guys have done a good job in that regard as well.
Listen to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton each weekday afternoon starting at 5. We are your home of ESPN Radio. 97.7 The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. AI-powered betting models to help you make sharper picks during March Madness. Free 7-day trial available now at rhythm.com. That's RITHMM.com.
Auburn and Alabama open up play in the SEC tournament, the quarterfinal round today. Auburn, the favorite to win the tournament title. They're 10.5-point favorites over Ole Miss. 154.5 the total in the Bridgestone Arena in Nashville. Ole Miss knocked off Arkansas 83-80 yesterday to advance. Meanwhile, Alabama takes on Kentucky. They outlasted Oklahoma 85-84 yesterday. The Crimson Tide, 6.5-point favorites over the Wildcats, 180.5 the total. Jacksonville State of the semifinals of the Conference USA tournament. The Gamecocks laying 1.5 against Middle Tennessee State, 139.5 the total. For more, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly cloudy sky this afternoon. We do get to enjoy a little bit of sunshine. A couple of rogue showers are possible across the Tennessee Valley. Through the heart of the afternoon, early into the evening, we are going to be warm. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 70s, dropping into the lower 60s. We are talking about the chance for some strong and severe thunderstorms across the Tennessee Valley. All modes of severe weather are going to be possible all day Saturday, and then as we head into the earliest hours of Sunday morning. Temperatures climbing into the lower 70s on Saturday. Cooler Sunday afternoon. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com. Joe Hunk, John Abraham, 256-576-4977. Welcome to the Blitz.
Second hour, final hour, best hour on 97.7 ESPN The Zone and the Blitz. Joe Hunk, John Abraham with you on this Friday morning, as coming up in about, I'm going to say 50 minutes from right now.
Yeah.
I am going to be busting it.
You're going to be running
to try to get to Toyota Field.
Yeah. And I got to go over to Charger Park. So we're going to have our own little areas to kind of take over and do some double headers because the weather, of course, coming tomorrow is going to push some of these games into Friday.
You have softball, which you'll be able to hear on the Charger softball zone tonight or today, starting at 1:00 for the doubleheader.
Yes. Just go onto the app, go onto the website. And if you see the Charger zone, it's not that one. You go down a little bit farther, you're going to see this big old yellow ball. That's the one you want to go to.
What kind of ball is it? What did you say?
It's a big old yellow ball.
Big old yellow ball.
Big old yellow ball.
You just go find that big old yellow ball. That's what we're looking for.
Yes, sir.
And so that is where the Chargers now. If you click on the Charger zone, that's where you're going to be hearing myself doing the game at Toyota Field as UAH is hosting West Florida. Today it's going to be a doubleheader. First game is going to be at noon. Tomorrow it is scheduled for UAH and West Florida to play back at Toyota Field. But that's kind of where Grayson Ello comes into this thing because of all the weather that's supposed to come through the Tennessee Valley over the course of the next 24 hours.
Yeah, if there's any time to have Grayson Ello on, I feel like today's probably the best day to do it with all that's going on around the area.
This is why she's our own personal Jim Cantore.
No doubt about it.
So she is going to be joining us coming up in about 25 minutes from right now to kind of get you an idea of, look, there's a lot of places that people that are listening right now on 97.7, whether it's on in your radio or if you're listening on the app, could be going because you have the baseball and softball games that we just mentioned.
Yep.
UAH women's basketball is in Jackson, Tennessee, taking on Nova. That game is going to tip off at noon.
And they'll still be getting the weather.
And they'll still get it because obviously as they're playing there after that game, if they win, then they're going to be staying in Jackson where a lot of the families obviously are going to be traveling to.
Yep.
I'm going to ask her about Miami, but I talked to Steve Moulton this morning.
Oh, he's chilling, bro.
And he's like, I don't mean to rub it in, but it's pretty awesome down here.
Look, it feels amazing,
crap, Steve.
It feels amazing up in Huntsville too, Steve. But you know what? We might just not have a sun out to kind of give us that. We'll get rid of that seasonal depression that we are slowly but surely getting rid of.
Yeah, and I actually get happier when the weather's like this.
Oh,
so yeah, no, it's really strange. I'm weird. And
it's warm.
So you have that. Then you also have the Havoc and the Bulls back down tonight in Pelham.
Yep, game 2
for game 2 of those back-to-back games that they have. And Bulls won last night. I don't know why. I don't. At this point in time, I just don't get it. I really, really don't.
Second period. It was just the second period, Joe.
Yeah, that's the look. And Mike Robinson, I know he gave up 3 goals. we could argue that 2 of them were not his fault. And, again, he was left out on an island. But in the third period, there were other times where Robo got left out on an island.
Bro got clutch.
And I mean, that man turned into like John Sebastian Jaguar.
Yeah.
I like that guy was a brick wall.
Talk about putting your team in a position to win the game.
No, there was one goal. I mean, there was one play that honestly I thought it was about to be a goal. And Birmingham was coming down left side. It was basically 2-on-1. Then it turned into 2-on-none.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one pass from the left, quick over to the right, one timer. Robo got down into butterfly, was able to stop it. It was beautiful.
Good little pad save right there. And
it was amazing.
It was a lot of that misdirection that Birmingham was throwing at him all night long, try and throw it over to the other side of the goal, try and get a quick greasy goal. But right there, I could see exactly what was going through Robo's mind. Okay, because it's tough when you got 2 guys on both sides of you. You might make the choice to anticipate the pass and then also the quick shot to the other side, and that could be a mistake because you could go after the other guy, and then of course whoever's holding it on the right side could just try and slide it in there. Instead, he did exactly that, but he knew that's how Birmingham was trying to score most of their goals, and he made sure he made the right decision. But Joe, there's also the SEC tournament up in Nashville,
and there's the SEC tournament in Nashville,
and all the other tournaments that are just scattered around the country.
Yeah, so there's a lot happening that we know that a lot of Alabama fans and Auburn fans and UAH and Havoc fans, all of you guys are going to be participating and thinking about. So we're going to be asking Grace about all of those because with this storm going through, we've already known that that Bridgestone has moved all the festivities and all of the stuff kind of like in that little SEC fanfare that they kind of are having in front of the arena. They've moved that all inside for the remainder of the tournament because of all this weather. So we want you to be weather aware and we want you to be safe on it and all that. And also, if you go down to Pelham tonight, I don't know if they're going to do it again, but they tried to get cute last night with a video package. And it was one of those like, hey, you see them all the time on social media. It's like this, the lookalike cam, I think is what it was.
Lookalike. And usually they're trying to be like, oh, Timothy Chalamet. And then it's just some skinny white kid. But no, they actually were trying to make fun of the Huntsville Havoc fan base. And I got to admit, a lot of these, and maybe I'm not the demographic. Maybe it's because it was Thursday and they had a lot of the older demographic inside of that arena. But right over my head, did not hit.
Yeah, let's just say that there was one girl that they compared to Ursula of the Little Mermaid. One guy got compared to a trash can. There was one hippie one, like because somebody was wearing like one of the Havoc tie-dye jerseys.
Made him look like a clown or something.
Yeah, man, I think it was a clown that he was dressed as. So it was needless to say that it was let's just say the rivalry is alive and well.
Mm-hmm.
And our very own John Abraham tried multiple times to make purchases at the Birmingham Bulls merchandise stand. I told you I was going to say it. I told you I was going to bring it up.
I forgot about this. So I was like, what was he getting at?
No.
Was he getting at
How do
here?
you forget about it? You went past the thing 3 or 4 times. You even started asking prices. So how much is that hat right there? Like how much is that hat? And the whole time I'm standing beside him going, are you for real right now?
Rocking our Huntsville Havoc sweatshirts.
Yeah, we've got our Huntsville Havoc gear on. We've got our zip ups that the team gave us.
They did give us that. I appreciate it.
And John's like, so how much is that hat right there? It's a really nice hat. I'm looking at him going, you are not,
Joe,
about to purchase a hat from the team that we are going up against tonight, right? I know, but look at it. It looks really cool, man.
Joe, you gotta give a little bit more context.
Okay, so here's the
and
thing.
Also, you stopped me as good as Robo was stopping those pucks last night as well.
I was not about to let you do this because here's another thing. If you don't know this yet or not, and trust me, if you are a native of Huntsville and you are over the age of 25,
20,
if you're over the age of 20, you remember the Tennessee Valley Vipers.
Damn straight you do.
You remember the Tennessee Valley Vipers, the Alabama Vipers. We're not going into the Raptors or anything like that.
Or the Hammers.
Or the Hammers. No, we're not talking about any of those.
Come on, talk about the Hammers.
No, let's not talk about the Hammers. And so you remember all the arena football teams and how amazing the Tennessee Valley Vipers and how much fun arena football was during the summers of like 02, 03. Like it was just absolutely tremendous. So the other, maybe last week, the Bulls put out a video because they were doing one of these rebranding nights where we see it in minor league baseball a lot, where they do like a rebranding where, we're going to name ourselves the Oppo Tacos, like something like that. And you come up with these uniforms and they're all like bright and festive and all this.
Usually celebrating history or some culture.
Absolutely. Like something connected to your area. No, Birmingham decided that they wanted to come up with the Cahaba Valley Vipers. And the logo is identical.
Oh,
it is identical to the Tennessee Valley Viper logo.
No, the one that they used on the jerseys and also the jerseys, they're not it. But I will say the hats and the specific secondary logo that they used may or may not have been the exact same logo we saw the Tennessee Valley Vipers rep, except for no football, but a hockey puck.
I'm not 100% sure that they didn't just take Viper hats from like a box down in a basement at the VBC or something.
They didn't, Joe. It was a hockey puck. It wasn't a football.
No, I'm talking about some of the hats because some of the hats didn't even have any of the words on it. Like they just had the Viper logo on it. Yeah. And I'm looking and I'm going, is that Tennessee Valley Vipers? Like, is that? I'm not 100% sure on this because they look awesome. I'm not lying. They look awesome. But the annoying part is that's our thing.
It should be our thing.
That's
Joe.
our thing.
It should be.
The Birmingham Barons aren't doing a Birmingham Stars night and they're wearing Huntsville Stars jerseys or Huntsville Stars gear. Like the Nashville Stars are totally different than what the Huntsville Stars are, because that was the Negro League team there. And obviously there was a lot of teams that named Stars back in the day. But we don't see that. Like, no. Like you have the Cahaba Valley Vipers and they're literally the Tennessee Viper logo. And I'm looking going, okay, come on. Like, is there more of a troll job that you could be doing with this right now?
Yeah, it was pretty good.
I mean, now I understand why everybody says that they want to castrate the Bulls. Like, I get it.
Well, you got it.
It's also really hard, by the way, to say the puck goes off the bull stick. I'm going to let you know that because I had to say that multiple times last night.
The tongue twister.
Trying to say bull stick is really, really hard because it's a bunch of bull stick in trying to say it.
They do
bull stick.
Have a little bit of credit because, it's kind of the Bulls were and kind of are owned by Art Clarkson.
They were owned by Art,
which is the same owner of the Tennessee Valley Vipers at one point.
And yes, he did own the Vipers. He did own the Raptors. He has. He is the reason why the Hoover Met is even a thing. Art Clarkson was an absolute genius in his early years with coming up with different things for the state of Alabama that put it on the map, whether it was Birmingham or if it was here in Huntsville with the Vipers and everything else. There was a Pythons? We had a Tennessee Valley Pythons?
The team joined the United Indoor Football League as the
was so bad.
Tennessee Valley Pythons. So that was the first name. I didn't know. I thought they were the Raptors first.
Yeah, no, you had the Raptors. That's when I worked with the team. They were the Raptors.
But after legal threats from the AF2 for using the snake motif, the team changed its name again, this time to the Raptors. And then they moved operations to Rockford, Illinois in 2005 and became the Rock River Raptors.
Yeah.
I'm learning all the lore.
And the UIF, it was a different league because what made the AFL so amazing is it was very pass heavy. Like you had a ton of, it was, this guy passed for 634 passing yards in this game, where UIF actually incorporated the run a lot more. And so it was more traditional football played on an arena football field. And it never really quite had the same vibe. No, it really didn't. And then the year I knew that the team was going to be disbanded, like we knew it was their last season. Yeah, there were just jerseys hanging out everywhere.
Well, that's the reason why, Joe. Okay, that's the reason why I was looking at their little team shop.
Yeah.
Their one little team shop in their little Pelham Arena.
Their little Pelham Civic Center. Which, by the way, if you watch this game tonight on Flow Hockey, or if you watched it last night, that's going to be what the Iceplex is going to have.
Yeah.
Hopefully the lighting's better. But it was what we're going to see is we're going to see like 1,000 to 2,000 seat arena. It is going to be on, if you're looking at the Iceplex, it's going to be on the right side in that kind of open area, the open field area to the right.
Probably where you walk in. Probably.
Well, where you walk in that's still going to be staying there. And what they're doing is the Iceplex is going to put a curling arena on the left side closer to Lehman Ferry.
Sorry.
And then they're going to put the main arena, that's going to be the main hockey arena, and that's going to be on the right side. And it's going to be about a 1,500 to 2,000 seat arena. It's going to be cool. It's going to be intimate. It's going to be really kind of awesome.
It's going to help out the beer leagues.
It absolutely is. And so that's what the Iceplex is going to be. So if you kind of want to see, at least in theory, what is going to be going on with the new Iceplex, with the announcement that they made earlier this week, with all the renovations and stuff, like it's going to be one of those types of things that I think that for Havoc fans, part of it's going to be is there's going to be a time over the next couple of weeks, especially with the fact that Huntsville only has about 9 games remaining, maybe 8 now if we counted last night's game, and they've only got about 8 games remaining. But the VBC has things that could potentially get in the way with the Havoc playing at the VBC for some of the playoff games, and so they go to the Iceplex. This would be a spot where instead of playing in front of 500 people or whatever it is on that rink 1 on the left side, whenever you walk into the Iceplex, you're going to be playing in front of maybe 1,500 to 2,000 if there's ever a scheduling conflict.
Which is good because the Havoc are growing, and so is the fan base, and now we get 2 arenas to where we're able to show off these games. But I'm gonna
can pack out 2. Some teams can pack out 1.
I'm gonna tell you something, kind of like how Mike Robo is similar to how he protects the goal. Fleming Roofing and Restoration can protect your roof, and make sure you guys look them up online. They are the guys you need to know for all your roofing needs. Just look them up. FlemingHSV.com is the place to find them, and you can fill out your free quote today. But Joe, before we continue on, and you want to try and get on me for wanting some Tennessee Valley Vipers gear, I haven't seen any. We do need to hop into the phone line.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. I would love to have Tennessee Valley Vipers gear.
Maybe eBay's got something.
Does eBay have?
Take a look, because you can find that. You're finding that the Japanese baseball stuff. You can probably find some Tennessee Valley Vipers.
Searching on eBay, man.
Okay. Jason, how you doing, man?
Hey, I'm good. Hey, y'all bringing up the old indoor football league. Do you remember the first game that Huntsville played? They was Birmingham Steel Dogs, and Bobby Humphreys was the coach of the Steel Dogs, and they sold out the Civic Center in Birmingham.
Oh yeah. No, this when the AFL and AFL 2 came to Huntsville and Birmingham, it was so amazing to see how both Birmingham and Huntsville just embraced those 2 teams.
Oh yeah, they went. I couldn't believe they actually sold that arena out. I mean, they was doing better than the Birmingham Americans.
Oh, absolutely, Birmingham Stallions even.
Oh, geez, and we actually talked about it yesterday. The Field Dogs, like, what if the Havoc, instead of doing the Vipers, they just took the Field Dogs? Where's that logo at?
That's what we need to do. Is now we need to take the Birmingham Steel Dogs and have a Huntsville Steel Dogs night.
Oh man, you know what Huntsville needs? And I watched the games, the GBA, or what is it? What is it? The minor league, the professional, the NBA.
Oh, it was the G League, but now it's like the developmental league or whatever they're calling it now. Yeah,
that's what Huntsville needs. They need a G League. I mean, you can look at the arena. They only got 750 fans in the arena for most of these games. Huntsville would be perfect for that.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, you could watch.
You're not wrong. Yeah, no, it would be cool. The thing is they used to have the flight, and we really didn't have the attendance really wasn't there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think it probably wasn't marketed well, and there was a lot of probably negatives behind it, the reason for it. But I do think that now that we've seen kind of like what Memphis and Alabama did earlier this year, whenever we have, basketball that is played at the VBC, like how many people do show up, it may be kind of a different feel in 2025 if we were to revisit that. But I think part of the reason is because a lot of people remember just how big of a failure the G League was with the Huntsville flight.
Yeah, I don't think you really got to have the attendance because the NBA's back in this. So I think they would do good, and they probably have the best attendance in the league in Huntsville.
No, you may not be wrong with it. And look, as far as hockey is concerned, that's why, like, if we wanted to, if we could and actually chose to say, take the suites away. Let's just say if the VBC goes, you know what, instead of doing the ice suites, let's just merge the bleachers right up against the wall and right up against the glass, and let's sell out and take every one of those things away and just make those all seats. And you add, say, 500 to 1,000 more seats just around the bottom of the arena, they would sell that out. Like they absolutely would. It was, that's what's the crazy thing about it is we get 6,200 people in the VBC for every single Havoc home game, and we could get more in it if we could find more seating.
Right. You could probably get 8,000 rear ends in there.
Oh, absolutely. No, absolutely. I mean, look, we're on 41 straight sellouts right now. And the next time that Huntsville is back at the VBC playing, that'll be the 2-game series against Peoria, which is going to be massive. And those games are going to sell out.
It's become a cult type thing that everybody loves to have it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, and especially now with the way that their jerseys look, man, those uniforms they're rocking now, those things are amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, absolutely beautiful.
Who do y'all got to win the SEC basketball tournament? I'm going to go with Florida. I think Florida actually has the best talent, and I'm going to go with Auburn for the second team.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say Florida, but I mean, we'll see after today. I mean, it's gonna be intense. I couldn't put any team down for it. I think you've got it about right. Florida, Auburn. I mean, who knows? Alabama could be feeling right this week, and they could just get on a little bit of a run too. Because I know damn well they are able to beat every single team that is still in this tournament right now. But it just depends on if they're ready to play or not.
The thing I've seen with Florida this year, when they're playing their game, they're the best in the country. I mean,
absolutely.
They are outstanding. But you can sit there and watch them play Mississippi State one night and they'll lose by 15.
Yeah. No, it's consistency. The whole thing is about consistency with Alabama. No, I actually kind of would agree with you about with Florida. I could say that I could truly see Florida playing in the championship game and winning this. I really do. Like there's a trend out right now. I saw somebody talk about it that like right now, number 1 seeds, either they lose their very first game they play in the tournament or they win the entire thing. And so now the question is for Auburn, which one of those statistics are they going to be a part of? I think they get to the championship game, and I say they're playing Florida. As far as winning it yet or not, I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I sort of believe, you're playing for a SEC championship, and the odds of winning a national championship are pretty slim. So if you can win one big championship, go for it. I mean, don't sit your good players on the bench or take it easy.
Yeah.
So you'll be ready for the tournament because there's a chance you're probably not going to win the NCAA tournament.
Well, that is definitely true.
Yeah. And it'd be sort of cool if they put 4 SEC teams in all different regions and we had a all SEC Final Four.
Oh, dude.
Look, you can't help but put SEC teams in all the different regions. So, I mean, there is an opportunity.
It'd be like dropping a parasite within, something, and then it just slowly just starts taking over. I feel like that's what would happen if the SEC was just scattered across the national tournament. But we appreciate that call, Jason. We got to hop into a break here in a second. But
okay, y'all have a safe weekend.
Thank you. You as well. I don't know. If I see Tennessee and Florida meeting in the finale, Joe, I don't know, man. I think that would be the team that would be able to maybe get the upper hand on the Florida Gators. But again, like I said, we'd have to wait and see just because the uncertainty that everybody has going day to day. And there's 4 fresh teams, and there's 4 other teams that have played at least one game.
Yep.
At least one game.
All right, let's get to it because coming up here in just a few seconds, Grayson Nello is going to be joining us as Way 31, as well as all of us are getting ready for this severe weather that is going to be coming through the Tennessee Valley over the next 24 hours. We're going to let you know what you need to be prepared for as you may be going to Jackson, to Nashville, to Birmingham, and maybe even Miami. We'll talk about it when we come back next on 97.7 ESPN The Zone and the Blitz.
What does it mean to be a part of the Southeastern Conference? That you scheduled your wedding and even your child's birth around your school's game? Of course, but it means more than that. It means you're home to hundreds of Fulbright, Truman, Goldwater, and Rhodes Scholars. It means starting out as the birthplace of American public higher education, and now leading the way in unmanned spacecraft. This is the SEC, and here it just means more. What does it mean to be a part of the Southeastern Conference? That there's an honest-to-goodness chandelier in your tailgate tent? Perhaps, but it means more than that. It means pioneering medical solutions to predict new flu viruses. It means leading globally diverse teams to eliminate starvation in developing countries. And it means being home to one of the nation's top cybersecurity programs. This is the SEC. And here, it just means more.
Hey, do you have heating and air issues as the springtime starts to roll around? Hey, there's just one name you need to know. Talent Heating and Air. #1 heating and air business right here in the Tennessee Valley.
Yeah, we're locally based. If you call, you're going to get somebody based in Huntsville. Mentioned in spring earlier, we can actually do indoor air quality products, so we can help alleviate those allergy problems you're having in your house.
All right, Thomas from Talent Heating and Air, give them the number that when they call, somebody live and local will pick up.
That's 256-503-4490.
And you can always head to the World Wide Web and find Talent Heating and Air, and you guys will still respond.
That's talenthvac.com. If you don't want to talk to a person right away, you can fill out a form on there and get scheduled for a visit.
That's Talent Heating and Air. They're live, they're local. It's Talent Heating and Air.
AL certain number 21014.
It is that time of year. Time to get your brackets ready to go. Steve Moulton here with 97.7 ESPN The Zone. And again, it's time to test out your basketball knowledge. We are your home for March Madness, but also brackets as well. Simply sign up, head over to our website, 977ESPN.com, or our social media sites at 977ESPN on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram. But head over to our website, and a link will be there for you to join in, 977ESPN.com. Our winner will get an overnight stay at the Lodge at Gunnersville State Park, a foursome at Cherokee Ridge, and $100 worth of food. We'll also have prizes for second and third place as well. It's our Bracket Challenge 2025 style. And head over to our website, 977ESPN.com, and sign up today.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
I'm here with Stan McDonald of Jacob Title. Stan, I've heard that every real estate closing at Jacob Title is a very big deal. Why is that?
Wes, I'm reminded of a very impactful statement that I heard from Coach Gene Stallings years ago when he talked about big games and little games. He said he didn't like that comparison. He says, because try losing one of those little games. And if you ever do, it ends up being the biggest game all year long. Well, it's the same thing with real estate closings. Every game, every closing is a very big deal at Jacob Title. Because when it's your closing and your contract on the line, it's a very big deal, and we understand that at Jacob Title.
So it sounds like whether your client is a first-time residential buyer or a multi-million-dollar investor, they can expect your A game.
That's exactly right. As a matter of fact, when you bring your real estate closing to us at Jacob Title, we understand it's all about trust and confidence. And when Stan McDonald tells you that a chicken dips snuff, you can look under his wing for the box.
And like Beebs likes to say, there's no doubt about it.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
Are we done after this?
No.
Okay.
Do we have it again?
Look, man, I already have to pay attention to the
okay.
weather. I'm totally lost right now, okay?
This is just a part of the rotate.
Oh, good heavens.
And then later, I just see Sandman, Metallica, right next to
All
it.
right. Well, this is all we're about to be in for a bunch of surprises, okay? Because around the Tennessee Valley over the course of the next 72 hours, 106 hours. Whatever. 96 hours, whatever it is.
It's a long time.
We've got a lot of stuff happening. You've got UAH baseball and softball happening here in Huntsville. You have the UAH women playing up in Jackson, Tennessee in the NCAA tournament. They're about to get going in a little over an hour from right now. You've got the men's team down in Miami playing in the NCAA tournament. They get going tomorrow afternoon.
Shout out to Steve.
Yeah, hope you're enjoying Miami. Screw you.
I wouldn't be. No.
And then you have Alabama and Auburn fans right now that are heading up 65. Auburn fans should already be in Nashville because their game is tipping off in an hour and a half.
On 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
And you have Havoc fans traveling down to Birmingham for that. So there's a lot going on. Okay, there is. So we need our own Jim Cantori that we always have on in wonderful cases of emergency, which makes me wonder even more about how bad this is. Because Grace is the one that reached out to me to be like, hey, look, I'm just letting you know this weekend we could have some issues. So, Grace, I'm letting you know you've had me on alert for like the last 4 days that something wrong was happening going on this weekend.
Well, I'm going to be real with you. This is a big system, but also that was in part selfish because this is such a big system. I was like, I can't do the 7 a.m. email on Friday. It's just not going to work.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Thank you for that. No, you did. When I did, I woke up one morning and I went, she's giving me the heads up. Like, oh, crap, this is probably legit.
We made a big time.
Yeah, okay. So now, Grace, now I have to ask because let's focus on the Tennessee Valley first because right when we wrap up with you and the show ends, I am busting it to Toyota Field. Okay. John is heading to Charger Park. And then we've got games today as well as tomorrow and potentially even Sunday. Mm-hmm. What are we looking for in this system? How's this going to be working out over the next few days?
So, I just keep it real with you guys. Today, you're fine. Okay. Later this evening, like around 5 o'clock, you're talking 30-mile-an-hour wind gusts. So not exactly going to be a pitcher's good friend, but it's going to be fine. Other than that, we'll be overcast, just a little bit of drizzle. Tomorrow, nobody's playing a game anywhere in the South. It's just not going to happen. Sunday, Sunday, your weather's going to be fine. We're going to be sunny. We're going to have highs in the mid 60s. The issue is going to be your fields and drainage, especially over in the shoals and in Tennessee. They could see up to 5, 6, 7 inches of rain. Many of the rest of us, Charger Park, those areas, we could see anywhere from 1 to 3. So it's going to kind of depend on your field's drainage. Your Sunday weather's not the problem. It's going to be the field problem.
Got you. Okay, so tomorrow, just basically, we should all just plan on just staying at the house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would tomorrow. I said on air this morning, tomorrow's the day you finally get to clean out that closet that you've never gotten time for because you're going to be home all day.
Great.
And maybe inside of the closet by the end of the day. I'm throwing that out there. It looks like there's a possibility.
Wait, are we talking about that for real? Like, is there really a chance of like tornadoes and stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. So the biggest threats, which is never what you want to hear, I know. The biggest threats are tornadoes, damaging winds of 70 to higher miles an hour, 70 plus. Hail. We already saw some hail on Thursday morning. It's likely that we could see some more. We're also looking at a potential flash flooding ponding event with the amount of rain we're going to see. So I'll break it down for you time-wise. We start to see drizzle in the wee hours of the morning on Saturday. It's inconsequential. Right around sunrise, we start to see some heavier pockets of storms start to pop off. There's a morning into early afternoon wave, morning to lunchtime wave. There's a little break. Then there's the late afternoon into evening wave. That late afternoon evening is the more significant of the two. So in the morning, the radar is going to be a mess. Everyone's going to be seeing rain, wind. You could see severe weather at any point within that. Then we have a little bit of a lull and it turns into a much stronger system that pushes into the shoals around 3, 4 o'clock, then continues to track east from there, sticks with us through dinner time into bedtime. By the time you go to bed Sunday, many of us are in the clear, could still be hanging out in Sand Mountain for another hour or two. But that said, you're not going to want to be outside. if you need to run an errand in that afternoon run, that's going to be just fine. But you got to have a way to make sure you can get warnings all through the day, because you're going to need them all through the day.
Okay, and people probably going to be up in Nashville, of course, for the SEC tournament. Do you advise that they probably get up there today, or how's the weather going to be looking up in Tennessee?
So the system is moving directly across the Mississippi River. Tomorrow, the severe weather warning, Huntsville's in a level 4 out of 5, as is much of the Tennessee Valley. However, the warning is going all the way from the Louisiana Gulf Coast up to Minnesota. So Nashville's in it too. They're having essentially the same threats that we're having, as is Mobile, as is Auburn, as is everybody else.
Okay, so you probably, if you are going to try and make it to the SEC tournament, you probably want to set out today. And then just make sure you have a strong hotel, just in case anything bad happens.
A strong hotel as compared to the weak hotels. We don't want the weak hotels.
No mobile 6 or Motel 6.
Yeah, no, we don't want those. Okay, so then what about, you mentioned Nashville, Jackson, we've kind of got that covered. You talked about how tonight, and I say using this on the internet, and I'm asking you specifics just because we have people going in all different directions, and if you have to repeat yourself, I'm sorry.
No, so I'm here for
you have a lot of Havoc fans that were at Mars Music Hall last night for the viewing party that we had for the game, that tonight they are going to be going down to Pelham, and normally that game ends around 9:50, 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
They're going to be driving up 65 right there. For those people that are going to be paying attention to this, and you mentioned the line coming through, what do they need to do and be aware of as they know that they're going to be on 65, where obviously you have a lot of trees and everything around the interstate?
Yeah. So it's a good question you ask. So when it sounds long-winded, but I have a point. When we forecast weather, there are multiple different future radar algorithms that we use. They're all based on the same data, but they kind of produce different things. Being a meteorologist is knowing which one of those is accurate at which time, or if there's a blend. There is a model that has some strong rain and a few pockets of storms developing between midnight and 2 a.m. That is not the model that I'm buying. The model I'm buying has activity starting a little bit closer to sunrise. So my forecast to you is you're likely going to be just fine at that time. It's going to be very windy. It's going to be dark and cloudy. You could impact pockets of isolated, not very heavy rain, more drizzle than anything else. However, there is that small chance that I am wrong and that something does happen. So I would say you're probably good to go tonight. I would plan on being good to go, but I would also 100% check in with some forecast somewhere before you hit the road, just to be sure.
Yeah, no doubt. Okay. And so is this the end of the cold and the start of like the rainy season? Is that what you would say? And then is this just the straight up beginning to what could come in the future with, of course, April being the rainiest of seasons, at least statistically?
Yeah, so I'm actually glad you brought that up. March, we do tend to see some of these larger systems pop off like this. And shockingly enough, it is almost always on Pi Day on March 14th. Like if you looked back at the history of March 14th, we see events similar to this really quite often. So anyways, we do typically see strong storms start to develop in March. It's when we're just the right mix of cold and hot and we're starting to get that moisture in. April, of course, is our severe weather season. Our average last frost is April 1st. I do have us dipping into the 30s a couple of days next week, as well as high, like for wake up temperatures, as well as high temperatures in the 50s. But that's only 2 or 3 days. And then we should rebound back to the 60s and 70s.
So it may be terrifying weather out, but guys, the cold weather is on its way out. So
there you go.
Positive. Yeah, thanks for that. I appreciate the
always the bright side.
Yeah,
Joe.
way to look at the bright side on those things. Okay, so basically, what we're saying is unless you're going to go down to Miami for UAH basketball, which screw you, unless you're going down there, you need to be where you're going to be by sunup tomorrow.
Yes, you do. Okay. The other thing I've been preaching all morning is, we all have our safe place. We're not used to having to go to our safe places multiple times throughout the same day. So, I mean, you know me, I'm a little mispractical. Do you have a book? Do you have coloring pages? Do you have snacks? Do you have water? These are all things that plan to be in there for a while tomorrow. You know what I'm saying?
I can move the PlayStation into the closet, right? Like we could just set that up and we'd be good. Yeah.
I also feel like it's pretty safe in here, even though it's on the second story of a building. But there's TVs everywhere.
Tell him, Grace. Hold up, Grace. Tell him about second floors. Tell him about second floors.
Is it the second of 2 floors?
Yes. You notice that?
Trust
right?
me, I
You
know.
notice the
I know that it's not, but this place is made of like cinder blocks. Okay, I don't even know what my apartment's made of. It might be like paper mache or something like
It may be like one of those weak hotels that you were talking about just a second ago. It may have sent it into the
a little Super 8.
Absolutely. So, okay. So we've gotten the weather with this. You've talked about what is potentially going to be going on. Now the question is do you do March Madness brackets?
Absolutely. It's called bracketologists.
Thank you so much. So now I'm letting you know that our bracketology and our brackets are going to be going live that we have for this. So now that you are basically like the third host of the show because you come on enough with all the bad weather, that now you've got to be a part of this and you've got to enter our bracket contest. You know that.
I mean, I will, but I'll tell you, I won last year by a lot. So
That's good. I mean, we want more competitors. I think that's all what it's all about. It's the talent of heating and air. 2025. I've never used 2025 until today. Bracket challenge. You're able to find it over on our Facebook and our Twitter. So definitely, Grace, sign up for that, and the listeners will be able to play alongside you as well.
Yes.
Doug, I'm so in, but prepare. I'm not one of those like I like blue, so we're gonna go with them. It's not me.
I would hope not. Either way.
So you're not putting Mississippi State like in the Final Four just because it's Mississippi State, right?
I'm so mad at you for asking me that.
Look, I have to ask, okay? Look, we even had Neil Price on yesterday. We were talking to him about Mississippi State, and we even talked to him about the baseball field and everything that they've done with it all this way. So, it was a perfect conversation for you. But now that's the question is because he talked about how they know they're in the tournament, but it's about the seeding in it, and he's got to figure that out. So that's why I asked, because you said that you're good at this. That's why I'm making sure that I asked the question.
So in most things, I will just choose Mississippi State till I die. Like you couldn't convince me that I'm wrong. However, when it comes to my March Madness bracket, the ability to win is stronger. So I will put State in their rightful position. They break my heart every year because that typically is not past the first round. Yeah. But you got to do what you got to do. You can't eliminate yourself.
It's true. It is very much true.
Look, and I'm in a situation where my team's being picked to win the whole thing. So I'm sitting like, I feel weird choosing them to win the whole thing.
It's the only time you can, Joe.
I know, because it doesn't happen. Like everybody no, they're winning the whole thing. I'm putting them through it. I most likely am doing that this year, but I feel weird for actually doing it, but it makes sense to do it.
Yeah, I understand.
So, yeah. Okay. So, yeah, I will be going that way. Also, I'm going to assume here in about, an hour and 15 minutes, we've got Auburn taking on Ole Miss. Do I need to ask you who you're pulling for?
You better not ask.
Okay, just double checking. Fantastic.
Our listeners wouldn't like it, I don't think.
Yeah, no, just letting you know. No, yeah,
I
no,
hate
we don't.
Ole Miss, but I also we have Auburn people, so it's like a double whammy.
Okay. Well, I could see why you would hate. I'd see why you could hate Ole Miss.
She hates Ole Miss, but she's going to love the way. Does this excite you, by the way? I haven't asked that because, as a meteorologist, no offense, you get those days where you're like, today is going to be sunny and beautiful, and yay, okay, cool. But then today's the one where you're like, I've got 4 monitors going. We've got all these different models. I think that one's a liar.
They got gigantic TVs over their way.
I mean, seriously, does this not excite you more than what it is on the normal day where it's like, yep, it's going to be 85 and warm. I hope you have your good time out there today.
So it's a little bit of both. I'm going on day 12 of what will end up being 17 straight. So that's not that exciting. I get very excited by the actual storms themselves. I'm a physics girl. So thinking about the power and the trajectory of storms, I really find quite exciting. But I get upset for people that they get scared and that they might get hurt. I've had a lot of people asking me if this is the same system as April 27th, which it very much so is not. So that should give you peace. However, it's kind of a catch-22. I like my position in the morning because I feel like I'm the prep girl. I can help you prep. So that makes me feel useful. But as far as the power of the storms, absolutely. And a little fun fact you didn't ask for, and I can tell you're running out of time, but it's okay.
No, it's fine.
If we could harness the power of one thunderstorm, one time, we could power 300 single-family homes for 6 months straight.
Get on it, Joe.
Why are you saying me? She's the physics girl. Why are you saying Joe? I'm the guy that talks on the air.
You're able to save the world, Joe.
Look,
Come
man,
on now.
I sucked at chemistry, okay? I truly did. I hated biology, and I know this is right up your lane. I mean, seriously, all the words, you don't understand. For a living, I'm supposed to say people's names every single day, and I suck at it. You're asking me to try to power the world? Do I look
Just
like Tony Stark?
500 homes, Joe. Come on.
God,
That's the least you
bless
can
it.
do.
Okay,
Grace,
well,
Grace, you are very
Thank you.
useful. Definitely to us as the listeners can get all they need to know, not just with sports, but also with the weather and what it's going to bring. So, as always, we appreciate you very much. And let the people know where they can follow all of your work.
Yeah, you guys are so great. Thank you so much for having me on and always talking to me. So I'm on social media at AnelloWX on all platforms, and it was great for being here. You guys are the best.
Well, and before you go too, because I'd love to give you an opportunity to do a shameless plug, because you go around to all these schools and you're talking to a bunch of kids and everything. If there's a school or anything, because I know everybody's on spring break right now, that kind of wanted you to come out and visit them the way that you have been doing, what do they need to do?
Oh, you can just send me an email, GANELLO@waytv.com. I book them all myself, and I would love to come. We have a bunch of little goodies for your little ones. I've been to about 10,000 kids in 3 years, so it's a lot of fun. We have a good time, and I feel like everyone feels a little less scared about storms after.
Are there, speaking of that, because now we're talking, because my son, it was January 1st, 2008. No, it was 2022, because I remember it specifically. January 1st, 2022, he was in a tornado. Like it was an F1 tornado that we didn't even know it was a tornado until after it already passed over the house. Are there books or anything that you suggest for kids and for parents that would kind of help them with this kind of stuff, just so that they're not as scared of it?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So I wrote one that we use in-house only at Way that talks about all kinds of stuff like that. That's something your kids will get when I come on a visit. I also really like the book, Franklin and the Thunderstorm. Franklin is afraid of the storm, and his friends kind of help him out of it. They talk about lightning, they talk about thunder, and they also talk about it's safe to be inside. It's not safe to be in your treehouse. When the power goes out, you just use a flashlight. It's a pretty good one. So Franklin and the Thunderstorm, I do like a lot.
I'm actually
it's really good for like kindergarten through maybe first or second.
Oh, Franklin's a turtle.
No, yeah, it's the turtle guy.
Yeah, Franklin's a turtle.
Yeah, you know Franklin.
Yeah, see, I'm looking it up on Amazon right now so that I can save it, so that I can buy it, so that I can read it, just because you can always tell he gets a little weary, and he will always ask, is this the one that's going to have the heavy winds? And so we have to like tell him, nah, man, you're good on this one. Like, I felt so bad. My wife and I were in Nashville, and he was there. We had no clue it was going to be this bad.
It's not your fault, man.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Yeah, no, it's totally not. It's totally not. And you're doing a good thing trying to help him. And as he gets older and understands more, that will ease for sure.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Grace, appreciate you as always. By the way, Matthew threw in the chat, Ole Miss loves you. So, I mean, that's just something to take home with.
It's a one-way street right there. I'm letting you know right now, it's a one-way street.
I just heard the silence was so loud. I'm glad you could hear a little bit of the fuzz. Like,
I really didn't know what to say.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Have a wonderful day. Please be safe, and we'll talk with you next time.
All right, thanks, guys. Have a good one. Bye.
All right, bye. That was Grace Mello of Way 31, as she's helping you know. So basically what she's telling you, you are good until, I would say, before sun up, just to be precautious, which hopefully you are where you're supposed to be before sun up. And
we almost weren't.
Yeah, no, we almost weren't. We actually know when she first started talking and she mentioned the first model that was like 12 to 2 a.m. That was when we got back into Huntsville last night, was right at that time.
Yeah.
So I was sitting thinking like, oh, great. Like these people driving in from Birmingham tonight, they're going to have an issue. But tomorrow morning, sun up, that's where you kind of need to be. And just be prepared and make sure that you have your weather alarms and everything ready to go.
Yeah, we must have had like the week 0 weather that came through before we left Birmingham, because apparently it stormed down pretty hard here in Huntsville. But we didn't know about it.
Nope.
Either way, we'll take it to break. When we get back, we're going to close out this Friday edition of the Blitz. So stay tuned, as we'll be right back here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone and WZZN TV. I let it drag on, Joe.
Atlanta Braves spring training is on from Florida, and this 2025 Brave squad is ready to get after it in Northport.
And he waylays this thing way downtown. Swung on a fly ball, deep left center field, heading towards the gap. That is down for a base hit. Acuna hits the bag at third. Here he comes. Michael Harris taking no prisoners. It's a sweep.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey, Wes. Our company, Fleming Roofing and Restoration, specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a fifth-generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it, or we can replace it.
Well, you guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10 plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey, Wes, we show up.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
Hi, folks. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, inviting you to come test drive any one of our over 100 F-150s. From rock-solid, dependable work trucks to our state-of-the-art Platinum Series, we've got an F-150 for you. Test drive one today, and you'll understand why the F-150 is the best-selling truck in America, going on 48 years in a row. Just as successful offenses and defenses are built on teamwork, Woody Anderson Ford is powered by our people. Our sales and service teams are well trained to save you time and money. And because we want your business again and again, no one will work harder to earn it. Our mobile service teams come to your home or business for oil changes, brake work, tire rotations, and more. And the great thing is you don't pay extra for it. We come to you with mobile service at no extra charge. Proud to be local, family-owned, and at your service for over 62 years. Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore.
There's power in caring when it is put into action. Each year, our bankers serve on nonprofit boards, support our local educators, and volunteer with our hometown food bank. I'm Bobby Humphrey, Vice President of Business Development for Bryan Bank, and community service is just not a line item in our mission statement. It's who we are. Because after all, Alabama is our home too. That kind of commitment to community might not be what you would expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give us a call or stop by one of our 2 offices in the Huntsville area and experience unbeatable service and legendary results.
Bryan Bank Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID 2428943.
All right, let's wrap this thing up. I've got my bags packed and I'm ready to roll.
Oh yeah, Joe.
I'm gonna be on 2 wheels heading out of this joint.
The way that this outro just came abruptly is kind of the way that our minds are working right now. It's like, oh, I gotta do this. Oh, I gotta do this. I came back in here. I looked at the clock. I was like, oh, it's 54. That thing's probably about to hit. It hit as soon as I got in here.
Yep.
But you know what? We're about to go and watch some people hit balls.
That's right. I'm heading to Toyota Field. You are heading to Charger Park. Alabama and Auburn fans are heading to Nashville. Be careful. Yeah. Listen to what Grace said. Make sure you are where you're going to be tomorrow by sunup.
And just keep it dialed in to 97.7 because you're going to get all the sports you want and more. And we will be back on Monday, everybody. So looking forward to that. We'll see you next time here on the Blitz on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Howdy, folks. Bob Baumhauer here. Whether you're planning a tailgate party at the game, cheering for your favorite teams at home, or at your local Baumhauers with your family and friends, we're here to make your